Welcome, Paul here. It's time to get started. This should be the first video section that you're watching through this program because it's critical you get your workspace set up properly, not only for efficiency, but for likability. And no, that has nothing to do with people physically seeing your workspace and saying, wow, this person is really organized. I like them. Not at all. And I want to start by taking just a couple of minutes to explain specifically why that is. Then we'll move on to the exact setup of your workstation. I'll give you some resources that you can use, and we'll close with a quick assignment to get you started. The main reason it's so important to have an organized workspace is because once you start applying all the tools and techniques that I'm going to show you throughout this program, you're going to have lots of things going on simultaneously. And when that happens, it's going to be very easy to get overwhelmed and lose track of everything. Before you know it, employers with whom you've applied are going to call you, and you're going to find yourself saying things like, I'm sorry, what company is this again? Can you describe the position? It's just, I'm sending my resume out to so many different places right now. I've got so many applications out there that I just don't remember which one this is. Can you describe it to me? And I know that this happens because I hear it multiple times a week, every week, when I call people about their resumes that they've sent me. Why is this bad? Well, from the employer's perspective, you couldn't sound less interested. I mean, job search, a lot of times it's been compared to dating, right? And this would be like if you went to a bar and you met somebody, they seemed nice, they gave you their number, and when you called them the next day, they said, I'm sorry, can you refresh my memory just a little bit? It's just, I gave out my number to so many people last night hoping to get a date that I don't remember who you are. Can you describe yourself to me? Click. That's the feeling that you're giving these employers. It's just not likable. But if you had a workspace that was organized and you had a system to keep track of all the moving parts, well, you'll be able to make a great impression on every employer and you won't miss any opportunities. You also want to keep in mind that positions open and close very quickly, so you have to be able to react quickly. And one of the biggest time wasters for job seekers is looking for stuff. If you don't have what you need at your fingertips and you have to look for it, one, you lose time looking through all your papers trying to find it, and two, while you're looking for it, you could get distracted if the phone rings or if somebody walks by or your kid breaks something in the other room. You have to see what happened. Well, the next thing you know, you've forgotten what it was you were looking for and you never get back to it. That's how opportunities get missed, and you can't afford to miss opportunities right now. Now, if you're one of those people who takes pride in a messy desk, you have a system that works for you in the mess, I'm sorry, not today. It's time you tried a new way of doing things. I mean, how badly do you want to find a job quickly? If you have even one thing, one pile of stuff that you have to move to get to that thing that you know where to find, well, the people who are watching this, who are going to try this system, well, they're going to get to theirs first because there's going to be nothing in their way. I mean, if you and I lined up to run a 40-yard dash side by side, and hypothetically we were the same speed, well, if you've got hurdles in your lane and I don't in mine, I'm going to win every time. It's worth at least giving this a try. My rule is you need to be able to put your hands on anything you need within 10 seconds. And if you can do that, you drastically improve your chances of landing a job faster. Your preparation ahead of time will speed up your search. Abraham Lincoln said it best when he said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Okay, there's my spiel on why to organize your desk. It's time to get to work on how to do it. Now it's time to talk about the specifics of how to set up your desk. And first things first, I know that not everyone has a desk to organize. I mean, some people are just working at a kitchen table or on a coffee table, or you're using a desk at a library. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have a portable system that you can take everything with you, well, that's all that really matters for this whole process. That's why I'm sitting here at a card table and I'm still using a neutral background here, because it doesn't matter if I'm doing this search in an office or outside, as long as it's not too windy out. As long as I have an internet connection, I'm good to go. So if you do have a desk, more power to you. This will be a little bit easier for you, but I want to make sure that everyone can follow this. So what do we need to have at our desk here? Simplicity is the key. The less, the better. I recommend having 5 manila folders. In fact, I don't recommend it, I'm requiring it. If you're going to do this system, this is what you need to have, because I'm going to show you a system here with these. Manila folders are just very simply no frills, no pockets, nothing, but it has an area where you can label things, which you really need to do. If you do have a desk, I'd recommend you have 5 hanging folders that you can dedicate to your job search in a drawer someplace. Personally, if you do have a desk, I would also recommend having stackable inboxes like these. These for me seem to work really well. I like to have them on my desk so everything's neatly organized and I can just quickly grab at things throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I'm going to put stuff back into my folders. In addition, you're going to want to have some sort of a nice folder to put stuff into, such as a leather binder like this. When you open this up, you'll notice that you've got a place for a notepad, you've got pens, you've got business cards. I would always have extra business cards here. This is something that's very nice that you can take with you into a job interview. The other nice thing about this is you can take your system and put it right inside there. So you can take your system with you wherever you happen to go. If you don't want to get one of these leather binders, or you don't have an office supply store near you, they're pretty inexpensive. If you go there, just a regular 3-ring binder that you can get at a Walgreens or wherever else, or a Jewel or a whatever grocery store you have near you, works fine, or just any kind of a plain folder that you can put the 5 manila folders into. That's really the most important part of this whole process. So you got to have a place to store those. Then of course you're going to need to have a phone. Doesn't really matter what kind of a phone, any kind of a phone works great. And you're going to need to have a computer with an internet connection. And last but not least, you're going to need pads of paper and pens. And honestly, what I do for pads of paper and pens, if you ever print stuff off that you no longer need for whatever reason, as long as it has a blank side to it, instead of just throwing that right into the recycling bin, save them, and then later you can cut them into 4s. And then you got more pieces of paper than you know what to do with. You get a little clip that you buy again at an office supply store for like 79 cents, and now I've got my own pads of paper that I pay virtually nothing for. I will tell you, after years and years and really decades of doing that, I would recommend you get yourself a slicer like this. If you're not familiar with these, they're very nice. You can cut the paper much faster and easier. It's a lot better than just spending all day with a pair of scissors doing that, but either way will work fine. I just wanted to share that little tip because I love that. But as far as materials to have at your desk, that's really it. That's really about all you're going to need for your physical workspace. When we get into the technology section under the Prepare tab, I'll go over the specific applications and job tracking forms that you should have at your computer to maximize your search time. And a lot of them have already been created for you here, and you can download them for free from this website. But in this video, I'm just talking about your physical workspace. If you don't have a computer and an internet connection, you have at least 2 options that I can think of off the top of my head. First is a local library that you're going to have close by to you. That's going to have computers with internet connections that you can use. That's a great option. But second, many states and many counties within the states have their own job search training facilities that you can use for free with workstations and phones to help you find a job. A lot of people don't know that. I don't know why they don't advertise that more, but a lot of counties in most states will have that. You just need to do a quick search online for what's available in your area. For me personally, I live in DuPage County, Illinois, and we have what's called WorkNet DuPage. Again, state sponsored, and it not only has workstations and phones, but it's got a complete library of resources and books for job search, networking groups to help people find jobs, job search seminars. It's all free. If you live near me, you definitely want to check that out. And I do have their contact information on my recruiting company's website, which is at drivestaff.com/clubs. If you don't live near me, which I suspect most people don't, just do a Google search for a facility near you. Now, as far as your phone, if you don't want to use your primary phone number for your job search, maybe you're worried about posting your phone number on your resume and getting called by every insurance broker out there trying to help you or ask you to sell insurance for them, I've got an easy solution for you. Just go to Google Voice. Just do a Google search on Google Voice and you'll find it. And you can get a phone number with a voicemail for free. Now, you will need to actually tie a real phone number to that Google Voice number, but this is going to allow you to give out an alternate number for your job search, and you can have a job search specific voicemail greeting on it that you can then change after you find a job to let everybody know that you're no longer looking. Just, I'd ask you be nice about that. Make it a polite, grateful for their call kind of a message, because you never know how soon you're going to be in the job market again, and you don't want to leave the wrong impression on everyone. Let's get back to our 5 folders. Now, I'm a believer in having a minimal amount of paper, and I'd love to tell you that that's because I'm so green and I'm out to save the environment, which is a nice side effect, but really it's because I'm not always sitting next to all my files, and if I need to access something quickly from anywhere, well, having papers at home is not going to help me do that. But I still do use some paper tracking because I know that pieces of paper will never crash, and I can access them even when I'm talking on my cell phone. So we need to label these 5 folders, and we're going to label these now, do, waiting, hamper, and leads. And pretty much everything you need to do in your job search can fit into one of these 5 categories. And I'll be using these folders throughout the program so you can see how and when to use each one. But just as a quick overview, the Now folder is for things that are urgent and important to do at your first opportunity. Things that if you do them right now, you'll immediately increase your chances of landing a job this week. Your Do file is for important but not urgent tasks that need to get done. Things that you really need to do, but you shouldn't put off following up on a job lead just to do these things. Your Waiting On folder is for anything that you have in process that you're waiting on a response. And of course you should include the obvious things here, like the list of companies that you've sent your resume to and you're waiting on a response, and callbacks after interviews, but you also want to keep track of leads that you've reached out to and haven't heard a response back from yet, and anything that anyone has said that they would do for you in your job search process, but they haven't done it yet. One of the biggest keys to success in anything, especially job search, is follow-up. And I'll tell you, after a speaking engagement, I will always have a line of people who come up to me afterwards, and almost all of them will say that they want to send their resume to me, but maybe 10% of them actually do, and it's amazing. I mean, why stand in a line to talk to me and tell me you're going to send me your resume and then not do it? And I'll tell you, these are very good-hearted, well-intentioned people, and at the time that they say it, I think that they truly believe they're going to send me their information, but I also think that they don't have a formal system in place to make sure that they do what they say that they're going to do. Luckily, I do, so I can follow up with them. But if neither of us did, those connections would be missed. Now, your Hamper folder, this might sound a little bit crazy, but this is for a file of the tedious stuff that needs to get done, but that could prove to be distractions if you let them. Things that, like papers that need to be filed, for example, or all those little note sheets that have information on them that should be somewhere, like in your computer or in your address book or wherever. There's nothing worse than having to look through a stack of 50 little note sheets or handwritten notebook pages for one little phone number, and then you find it, and then 5 minutes later someone asks you for another number that you have to look through that whole stack again for that number. I mean, that's a complete and total waste of time. If you're accumulating stuff and you need to file it throughout the day, put these things in your Hamper. And I don't recommend filing everything one by one as you get them, because that also wastes time. You have to stop what you're doing if you do that, and then start the filing process and finish the filing process, and then restart whatever it is you were doing all over again, assuming you didn't get distracted by something else and never get back to the task at hand. It's kind of like using a clothes hamper. You know, at the end of the day, today, you're not going to run home and then run to the washing machine and wash the outfit that you're wearing right now, are you? No, of course not. You're going to put it in the hamper, and then when the hamper's full, you wash all the clothes together. Same idea. At the end of the day, or at minimum once a week, you set aside some filing time to clear that folder out completely. This is going to allow you to file things faster because you're doing everything all at once, and it ensures your desk doesn't pile up with stuff. Now last, certainly not least, is your Leads folder. Now these are all the job leads that you've heard about that you might pursue, and this is a very important folder to keep organized and to have a system for going after each of these leads quickly. And I'll get more into that in the search section of the site, but Pursuing leads immediately is essential. So this is going to be a very important folder for you. And I can't stress enough how important these 5 folders are for your search. I mean, that might seem like an overly simplistic system here, just 5 manila folders, but truly together, these are a tool that will build likability for you through trust because of your follow-through. Just a quick story here. In the recruiting industry in Illinois, they have an annual meeting called the Top Producer Panel for the top 5 producers in the state. And I've always loved making it onto this panel, but at the last one, I got to be the moderator for this panel, leading the questioning. And of course, I would direct the questioning of the audience to each of the members, but I would also sneak in a few of my own there that I really wanted to know for myself. So I asked all the panelists to tell us what was the one thing that they felt was the biggest key to their success. And it was interesting that their answers weren't about a software system that they had in place or how long they've been in business or their lengthy client list. It all came back to follow through. And I'll tell you, one of them said it best with a quote, and I immediately wrote this down knowing that I had to live by this. She said, "I do what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it with no exceptions." And that's it. I mean, it's that simple. These folders are going to help you do that. They're going to help you get the important stuff done right now. They're going to make sure you don't forget to do the stuff that's not as important but still does need to get done. They're going to help you follow up with the people that you're waiting on, people who were supposed to do something for you but maybe don't have a system in place and forgot. And it's going to keep you organized and on top of every lead that's relevant for you. Simple follow-through builds your credibility as being trustworthy, and it's easier to like people that you can trust. That helps you establish quality relationships with people and can open doors to opportunities to help you find a job faster. So these 5 folders, yes, they may seem a little bit simple, but I'm telling you, you got to do this. This is going to make a difference for you. The last piece of advice that I can give you for your workstation is to start every day with it being completely clear and to finish the day with it being completely clear. These 5 folders not only help you organize things and keep things portable, but they make it easier to store when you're not using them. At the end of each day, after you're done planning your next day, you need to put these 5 folders into the hanging files in your desk. During the day, I have them sitting in my inboxes or neatly spread on the desk if I don't have the inboxes. And when I'm done, they go into my hanging files or into that folder where you keep your job search information. You want to be able to start each day completely fresh so you can build on the positives and keep the negatives behind you. I mean, if you had a particularly tough day yesterday, you don't want to walk in the next day, the next morning, looking at all of yesterday's problems, scattered all over your desk. Clear your desk off at the end of each day, and cumulatively, you'll find that you'll start having a greater number of really good days. And that's what you need right now, is a string of really good days right in a row. So give this a try. Believe me, this works. Now, let's check out some resources. If you need resources, you need to buy some of the materials that we talked about in this section. Below this video, I have some links where you can buy manila folders and whatever else you might need, even the paper slicer that I mentioned earlier. I did some looking around for the best prices, and at the time of this recording, the top 2 best places to get those things were Amazon.com and OfficeDepot.com. Look through both of them to make sure you're getting the best deal. And if you know of a better option, please let me know so I can share it with everyone else here. Now, if you use the links below, or you just go directly to these sites on your own in a new browser window, you're going to pay the exact same price either way. But I will tell you that the links below are affiliate links, meaning if you use those links below and buy anything from these websites, SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com will get a commission for you doing that, and you'll be supporting this site and helping us to keep this content free, which I certainly appreciate. And I've set up affiliate relationships, so you know, with lots of different companies so that we can always bring you the best prices. For the items that I mentioned in this section, the 2 below seem to have the best deals. Thanks in advance for using these links. Here's your assignment for this section. Get your desk set up. Designate an area that your family knows is your workspace. Get the folders that you need. Get ready. This is the first step in the process, and this should be a pretty easy one. It shouldn't take you more than just a few minutes to order what you need and to get set up. And then you can get started on the next section, which is about making sure you have the right technology in place, that you have the right websites bookmarked, tips for faster email correspondence, automated correspondence, and a lot more. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again so that both your conscious mind and your subconscious mind can accept the fact that finding a good job quickly doesn't have to be hard. You can do this. Now, go get organized. It's time to get to work.